Itemization and Paragon. Okay, Diablo 4 quarterly update. Hello and welcome to the year-end Diablo 4 quarterly update. We hope you enjoyed October's deep dive into sound design, the atmospheric ambient tracks, and peeking behind the scenes of how game sounds are made. Since our last blog, we've been hard at work adding new content and systems to the game. We've made big strides with every build of the game containing a host of expanded content, new art, balance changes, and other iterations. In fact, the team is currently playtesting an internal release of the game that represents a significant milestone. We have much to share with you today as a result, so let's dive in. First, lead systems engineer Joe, we're going to call him P. Joe P will discuss updates to key elements of itemization. These include the return of plus skills on items, a new way to interact with legendary powers, and some early work on targeted drops. After that, grab a warm beverage and a comfortable chair as he walks us through Diablo 4's completely new endgame character growth system. Okay, guys. Oh, please let this be good. The Paragon board. Next, lead visual effects design, artist design, Jesus Christ, start over. Next, lead visual effects artist Daniel Briggs will describe the philosophy that allows our talented VFX team to create huge explosions and eye-popping skill effects while keeping the game clear and readable, even when there are many players and monsters on the screen at the same time. He'll also go into detail on how Diablo 4's new game engine has allowed us to make frame-by-frame combat more precise and nuanced, while leveling up our effects to take advantage of the new lighting system. Finally, feast your eyes upon a plethora of skills across all 4 announced classes that show off our skill-driven death system. We hope you enjoy this update and look forward to your thoughts and reactions. We'll be back in the new year and are ever grateful to have you with us on this journey, Joe Shelley. All right, man, this is going to be a big one. Please be good. Here we go. The itemization of Diablo 4. Greetings, heroes of Sanctuary. We are thrilled to once again dole out a whole heap of info on the state of systems and endgame in Diablo 4. I'm Joe P., the lead systems designer, and today I'm going to share some details on 2 major features of Diablo 4 itemization updates and our plans for Paragon. Plus skill rank affixes. In Diablo 4, the plus skill rank affix returns. As players invest points in skills that grow in potency, and finding items with plus skill rank can speed that along. As a bonus, when the player equips an item with plus skill rank for a skill they haven't learned, they will have access to that new ability. This is like Diablo 2. It's a great way to try out new skills before you're able to invest in them. Getting a lucky drop that nets you a skill you'd like for your build 10 levels before you would otherwise have access to it is a huge boost. Slowing large axe of flaying. A magic 2-handed axe slashing. I wonder what that means. I like the level of detail in this tooltip. This much damage per second. Here is the range. Here's how many attacks per second, and it's classified as a slow weapon. I like that. I like how I'm not guessing what it does. +4. Jesus, +4 on a blue? Holy shit. +4 skills on a blue? Okay. Legendary and unique items. As Joe Shelley discussed back in our December update, legendary and unique items remain a core part of the Diablo item chase experience. We made a foundational change to legendary items in Diablo 4 by allowing legendary powers to appear on multiple item slots. Now, if you're searching for a legendary power like martial arts, which enhances the barbarian's kick ability, you may find it on rings, chest plates, or helmets. There's no need to hunt for a specific item type any longer. Now, the real question is what happens when you find a power on an axe when you really wanted it on a ring? or you found a great legendary amulet but can't use the power. Well, that is when we get to introduce our new friend, the Occultist. I say that right? The Occultist. Okay, she doesn't have a face. Who would be creepy enough to wear a hoodie to cover their face? Couldn't be me. The Occultist can extract a legendary power from a legendary item, crystallizing it into essence while destroying the item in the process. That essence can then be implanted into another legendary item, overriding the power that was present in the item at the time. Essence material can also be stored and used at a later time. Unique items cannot be modified in this way, keeping their fantasies intact and, as their name implies, unique. The axe is the item to be destroyed to gain the essence. Okay, so you destroy this pent-up axe, and you get the pent-up glowing essence. Again, I like these tooltips, how if it changes, it tells you how it changes. And so I'm wondering if there is a range, if it looks like it's keeping it exactly. I don't know if there's a range on these numbers, but in this screenshot, it kept it exactly. So you get a legendary power, you get it on the wrong item, you salvage it, and you can put it on a different item. So this sounds fine. This sounds fine. The one thing that I hope is preserved here in the grand scheme of things is that it's actually difficult to find these items, right? D3, I can make an entire character in 5 hours because of things like this. In D2, me assembling my full build takes forever because it's much more difficult, right? I like how difficult it is to make D2 stuff. So this is a very cool system. I'm down for it. Sounds good. I just hope that different things like this don't allow me to make my build as fast as in D3. When a new season starts in D4, if I'm up and running with my full build in 5 seconds, that's not going to be fun. It's like specifically this season when I was trying to make my Ina monk, but I had to do it LOD version. I just skipped the Sun Wuku seasonal journey, and I put it together with LOD. I had to do T1 5 times. Then I found something, and then I did T2. Oh, and then I got a big boost. Then I went to T4, and then T6 and T8. I like that progression in the game. I hope that this doesn't make it too easy to put together your build. That's my only concern here. Let's look here. Item before adding the essence. Wait a minute. I just thought of something. Didn't they say, I could be wrong. I could be remembering this wrong. Didn't they say that the lower tier items have better stats? They have like higher range of stats, but less stats. Am I remembering that right? So if you can apply this to a yellow, then it probably means that there's probably like 2 or 3 affixes that you're really looking for. And if the stat ranges are better on the lower tier stuff, I would like to apply this to the, like, let's just say I'm doing overpower. I just want to get the item that has the lowest rarity, that has the highest overpowered damage, and then apply this. Because, you know, that's usually how it goes in these ARPGs. There's like 2 or 3 stats you really care about, and all the other ones suck, right? So if you can apply this to a yellow, that would mean, it could mean that you are going to be hunting for yellows that have the 3 stats with a really nice range on what you're looking for, and then you apply the essence. So Echo Hack is saying he wishes it only applied to a legendary. Everything here, guys, everything is just because we see a screenshot and we read how the system works, we won't know until we actually test it. It may be like impossible to find a legendary. The drop rate could be insanely low. That might change how this whole system works. I have no idea. Just thinking about concepts here. I just hope, my thought on this picture is, I hope that this doesn't make it too easy. My thought on this picture is, am I going to be looking for yellows or blues or whatever is the lowest rarity that can be upgraded with the 2 stats that I care about, jack them as high as I can, and throw the legendary power that I care about? I don't know. Let's keep reading. Sanctuary is a vast world filled with forlorn trials through werewolf-infested forests, withered heaths crawling with cannibals, and fog-choked graveyards crawling with the restless dead. There are plenty of enemies and monsters for the hero to encounter. Each of these monsters seem to enjoy collecting certain types of items and will be somewhat more likely to drop these items than others. While bandits are fond of maces, crossbows, and boots, if you're hunting for a new pair of pants, you do well to kill some of the drowned instead. In past discussions, we've received feedback that it seems deflating for so much of a character's power to be delivered through the gear that they have equipped. Customizing and planning a character feels less rewarding if it doesn't play a big role in how the character performs in battle. We hear you loud and clear, and in Diablo 4, we have placed a stronger emphasis on character power that is earned by all the little decisions that you make while leveling up and exploring the world of Sanctuary. While we aren't talking about everything we have planned for character power today, I'm happy to talk to you about one feature in particular, the Paragon board. So, real quick before we have this here, this concept sort of applies in D2 and D3, but also not really. Where you can go to a certain area to farm something. To me, I think of things like bounties. In bounties, you can get a Ring of Royal Grandeur. It's the only place you're going to get it. In Diablo 2, you can farm certain places for high runes, certain places for bases, But this is talking about the specific items that you might need. I guess my knee-jerk reaction is I think this is a cool feature. Because it's kind of like Matt, one of the designers on the Diablo team, has mentioned before, and I agree with him. And he talks about a concept of tribal knowledge, where learning about the game can give you little advantages in the game. I like that. If you know where all the particular, like let's say Echoing Fury, for example, a mace. I needed one at the start of the season and I couldn't get one. If I know that bandits drop maces a lot, I can go to the dungeon or the area and just farm them for a bit and get my Echoing Fury. And this seems like an opening for what he refers to as tribal knowledge. And I think one of the things that D3 suffers from is the answer is always greater ifs. How do you find anything that's not bounty only? You just spam greater ifs. It's just a randomized map and you just plow. On one hand, people want to say, hey, I want to farm the same thing over and over and have an equal chance to get anything. I see, I sort of get the concept that you're getting at there, but I don't think that's completely true. I think these little things sprinkled into the game are a good thing for the game. It's not going to completely change the way that you play. Maybe it's not worth it for you to just go slay bandits, but if you really, really need a certain crossbow, and these have double or triple the chance to drop it, it might be worth it to farm it. So my knee-jerk reaction is this is a good little sprinkling of flavor into the game that makes it a little bit less mindless and opens up some tribal knowledge. What the fuck is this? I'm not even going to read. I just want to look at, let's look at this before we even read. This looks like if you took a if you took a regular Nintendo controller and you took off the case and you looked at like the little computer programming under it. This is the D-pad. Okay. Dr. Mario. I'm sure this is just, this is just to show something, I'm sure. Okay. Oh, whatever. Let's just read about it. In Diablo 4, we have placed a heavy emphasis on build customization, ensuring that you have plenty of control over how your hero grows. The Paragon board unlocks for each class at level 50 and is a distillation of this focus. Your hero begins their journey through the Paragon system at the central starting tile of their class's intro board. Central starting. Okay, so we start. Did I read that right? Yeah, you start in the center. Okay. And you make selections radiating outward. Once your hero reaches a gate tile, you'll choose which new Paragon board you would like to attach to it. The desired outcome is a personalized set of bonuses that will empower your hero and honor your dedication to their progression. That will remain fun to tweak and adjust over many playthroughs. There's a lot to take in with the image below, so we'll walk you through some of the aspects of what we're looking at here. We'll go back up. The Paragon board is comprised of many fixed tiles. As the Barbarian earns experience, they will earn Paragon points, which are used to unlock a connected tile. There are a few varieties of tiles that we want to walk through. Normal tiles. These tiles are straightforward, providing a small but meaningful stat boost. Normal tiles are the connective tissues that can be found throughout the board and are quite common. So I'm guessing they're like just the gray circles kind of deal. They're the gray circles, and the orange means that you've picked stuff, I'm guessing. Magic tiles are found in clusters throughout the board and provide a potent, more diverse set of benefits. As you might expect, they are less common, but they are still plentiful. Are found in clusters. Is that like this thing, or which ones are the magic tiles, guys? The red shape? You think it's the red shape? Okay, I'm guessing it's the red shape, maybe. Rare tiles. Rare tiles offer significant boosts in power. Upon entering the Paragon board for the first time, these represent great goals for the players to chase, particularly once you've narrowed down builds towards highly specific goals. Rare tiles also have additional powers that unlock once the hero has raised an attribute to a sufficient level, requiring some choices to be made when plotting your path through the board. Okay, so I think the rare tiles are these ones, right? The yellow hexagons, yeah. Legendary tiles. After the first Paragon board, each new board has a single legendary tile that can be found at its center. Legendary tiles impart a new legendary power to the character that earns it. Oh, here we go. So I'm guessing Yeah, the shapes. Oh, okay. Common is a circle. It's... All right. Okay. It looks like the shapes matter. We'll go back and look. +5 strength, 10 fire resist, 10 fury per kill, requires 175 strength, 125 willpower, 8% max fury. And the legendary is when your fury is above 50%, you deal 30% more damage. Like, now that's a huge power increase. Holy cow, there's even more. All right, let's go back and look at this one more time. So a magic tile, this must be a cluster. Did they not, is there a magic tile here? Magic tile in this screenshot was a diamond. Is there a diamond? You guys see a diamond anywhere? Maybe they just didn't put one in this. There's just no magic tile in the... They're found in clusters. Or is this shape supposed to be the diamond? Huh. Okay. Let's keep going. Glyphs and sockets. A socket is a special tile that can contain a glyph. Glyphs are items found throughout Sanctuary when embedded into the Paragon board, confer various benefits based upon the number of active tiles within their radius. Glyphs can also be leveled up by delving into some particularly dangerous dungeons. Leveling up a glyph extends the radius of their effect, allowing each one to draw power from or impart power to even more active tiles. Ah, yes. So is this like it gets a radius and in the board, and the bigger that it gets, the more nodes you have active in that radius, the more powerful it gets? Is that what it is? This makes 30% bonus to all nodes within that. Okay, yeah, we'll look at it then. For every 10 dexterity purchased within range, you deal 13.5 increased damage to vulnerable targets. Grants 40% bonus to all nodes within the range. For every 10 willpower purchased within the range, you deal 31.5% overpower damage. Grants 4 strength for each willpower purchased within the range. Okay, so these are leveled up in very dangerous dungeons. Let's go back up here. Is this where a socketed, what's it called? A glyph? A glyph. This is where a socketed glyph went in and it's showing you the radius. I gotcha. Makes sense. Now it makes sense. Okay. We're getting there. We're figuring it out. A single gate tile lies at each edge of the Paragon board. As you progress through the Paragon board, you will eventually reach a gate tile, which upon unlocking will allow you to select a new Paragon board to attach to your existing board. Each of these boards has unique tile layouts and new magic and rare tiles and a new legendary tile at the center. The Paragon board is extended from these gate tiles. Upon entering from the Paragon board list, you'll be able to place the board down, connecting it to the newly unlocked gate tile. You may also optionally rotate the newly placed board. We're hard at work on these and other features that we'll be able to share more about in the future updates. Though for now, That's all from the systems team. Thanks for reading, and please share any feedback you have on social media. Well, something that they have solved here, and they've solved it in not just one way, in many different ways, is they are slowly extinguishing the idea that Diablo 4 is going to be this rudimentary game, right? This rudimentary, mindless game. Because now, not only do you need a plan for your builds on how you start the initial Paragon board, there's going to be a lot of strategy in which way you go, which tile you add, and at the very end, there is a very critical thing that they said that you could rotate it. You may also optionally rotate the newly placed board. Attaching a specific board to your Whirlwind build, attaching it here and rotating it twice and taking a specific path may let you reach some legendary power and some magic cluster way earlier and make you way more powerful. There's going to be a lot of room to theory craft and make very interesting builds. This is not a mindless thing. I don't play PoE. Well, I full cleared it many years ago. I haven't played it lately. I know they add a lot of stuff all the time. It looks like they have taken a lot of inspiration from what PoE has, but in the same vein, when PoE built their game, they took a lot of inspiration from Diablo 2, right? When they first started out. So, to me, I read through their explanation and I look at the tree, and to me, it seems to add a lot of complexity, but I feel like I understand what they're doing here. So I don't think the system is overly complicated to understand, but the amount of theory crafting that you would have to do to get the perfect Paragon board is probably pretty high, especially with what they come up with. We had this in Diablo Immortal. They have Paragon trees and how you build it out. It seemed overwhelming at first for the Diablo Immortal thing, but eventually we found out there's a pretty clear-cut path on what you do, which is not always the best feeling. Oh, every class does this. You gain power by doing this, and that's it. I feel like there will be multiple ways that you can go here to really build out your character. And so, overall, with what I'm seeing here, I'm very happy with this. I feel like I'm pretty happy with this. I really like how you can put these things here and they have a radius, but my favorite thing, again, is if you want the really powerful ones, you're going to have to do very high tier content to get these super nice sockets for your Paragon boards. I like that. I like how to get the best Paragon board, you're going to have to do some work. And with what they set up above, where, okay, some Diablo games, literally your gear is all of your power, that's annoying. In Diablo 3, it's all about your Paragon tree. That's annoying too, where you just have to play 20 million hours a day to win. It looks like in this game, I'm hoping, from the words and what I'm seeing, it's a bit more of a balance. The Paragon tree does matter. And the items do matter. And there is a lot of customization and ways that you can do it in a much more balanced way. So overall, without having played the game, without having tried it, I'm pretty happy with this, to be honest. A lot of people really like PoE's system. They just say it's too complicated. This looks like PoE's system. Doesn't feel that complicated to me. Cool. Let's keep going. Visual effects in Diablo 4. Thanks for joining us. My name is Daniel Briggs, and I am the lead visual effects artist for Diablo 4. The VFX team gets to contribute to features across the entire game, but today we will focus on the work we do to support combat. VFX artists collaborate with designers and other art teams to create strong thematic identities for hero classes and breathe life into monsters in order to deliver the visceral, gruesome combat players have come to expect. VFX is an integral part of the combat experience for all Diablo games. With Diablo 4, we wanted to set up the fidelity of our effects using physically based rendering, PBR, as well as better support the core pillars of the gameplay: deep hero customization, itemization, and combat readability. Visual effects philosophy. Every effect plays a role in the final composition of our game. It is important to understand the context of an effect and how it best serves your experience. One of our core values at Blizzard Entertainment is gameplay first, and this drives a lot of the artistic decisions we make while developing visual effects for the game. Moment-to-moment gameplay is the focal point with the composition of Diablo 4. It should draw your attention. To achieve this, we must consider things like player skills, monster telegraphs, traps, damage areas, and character states. The visual effects for each of these compositions must be readable in all areas and lighting conditions, so you can quickly understand what is happening and use that information to make informed decisions. In the chaos of combat, you'll need to be smart. Seeing a legendary item drop is exciting, but picking it up is not as important as reacting to a monster's attack that can one-shot hardcore characters. Our goal is to balance the primary, secondary, and tertiary reads to help you understand what is happening. To do this, we reserve visually loud effects for powerful skills like ultimate abilities, while weaker skills meld into the background. Each class has abilities that range from low to high in cost, cooldowns, and power. In tandem, classes have a range of visual intensity that increases with skill power. To enhance the feel of combat, we have made several improvements to the way damage is applied in our game. In previous iterations of Diablo, an area of effect or melee skill would be a single area of damage that is applied on a single frame. Thanks to our gameplay engineers, we can now animate targeted areas, what we call payloads, over multiple frames, which allows us to line up the animated target areas with the animated VFX that play out. For example, Whirlwind in Diablo 3 is a cylinder shape surrounding your barbarian, which applies damage every couple of frames at a rate based on your attack speed. In Diablo 4, Whirlwind is an animated pie shape that animates with your character. AoEs expand outward with time, and the melee swings match the motion of your weapon. Animated targeted areas improve accuracy to the way we apply damage in Diablo 4. It makes combat feel more impactful, and monster ragdolls more visceral. Animated payloads also add a subtle timing aspect to a variety of skills. Additionally, we have revamped the way we apply hit effects to monsters, so impacts flow with the direction of a spell or a melee attack. We use data defined in the animation and animated targeted area to find the most accurate place to hit a monster and where to apply a directional physics force to the ragdoll. In a few words, if you hit a goatman in the knee, the blood spray will come from his knee. The physics force applied to the goatman's knee would send it flying as if you kicked the legs out from under him. Let's see this video. Dude, this game is gonna be sick, man. This game is gonna be sick. I'm sure this is gonna be something like this is happening so fast, but I'm sure this is something you would notice. When you're actually playing the game. I want to go back and see something here, though, with the whirlwind. Okay. So if we slow this down, I'm wondering if we can tell something here. So I'm wondering if these monsters are only going to take damage once your mace actually hits them. See, like, that's actually really cool. We didn't actually hit the goatman until we actually hit him with our mace. Wait. He's full health, boom. Seems to hit him right there. Deals the damage when you hit him and cut him in half. This is at least close to when we're hitting him. This one is not so close, but it's probably just like it's way better than an instantaneous, that flashing instantaneous hit. At least it's much closer, and probably at full speed you can't even tell the difference. But I mean, that was really good. That was really good. Look at this guy. That's probably the best example of it. Watch this guy. Look at when he actually takes the damage. There. That was really good. Okay, that one was pretty bad. If I'm looking at that right. That one was pretty bad. Okay. So that one could have used some work. We kill this guy when our mace is like at 12 o'clock. Okay, we missed that one, and why didn't this guy die? How did we miss that guy and hit that guy? But the previous one was really good. Anyway, it's just to show an example, right? Just to show an example, but I mean, that's really cool. Either way, no matter what, it's way better. It's way better than what they had before. Okay. Visual effects, casting and receiving light. In Diablo 4, we use PVR, physically based rendering lighting model, which means our materials look and react to light in a realistic way. This approach brings huge rendering improvements, but this can be counterintuitive to what a player might expect for class and monster abilities. As an example, think about what a campfire looks like in full daylight. It's pretty lackluster, right? Next, imagine what a dust cloud or a smoke plume would look like in the dead of night. It's nearly impossible to see. To account for this, we've built an engine and a shader library that lets us break PBR rule sets in artistic ways. This ensures important gameplay moments shine through as clearly as possible while keeping immersive elements full PBR so they can realistically react to lighting. Previous iterations of Diablo use primary unlit particles, meaning they are not affected by the environment's lighting. These particles give you amazing control over what the art will look like. What you paint is what you get. The downside to unlit particles is that any art may look too bright in a dark dungeon, or VFX color schemes may not feel cohesive within every environment. In Diablo 4, we use lit VFX that meld into the environment's lighting, creating a more immersive experience. Using Whirlwind as an example seen in the video above, in bright daylight, the blade reflects light from the sun. In a dark dungeon, it will reflect more subtle light sources like torches. The dust kicked up by the skill is also lit by the environment, so it blends artfully into the world. If we rely solely on environment lighting and follow true PBR rules, then gameplay readability is muddied, particularly in dark environments where a weapon swing would naturally be hard to see. To counteract this, many VFX have emissivity to cast light onto the environment. Several ultimates in our game will even allow you to change the weather and lighting of the environment for a limited duration. We strive for a healthy balance of gameplay clarity and thematic immersion. Okay, Billy, press all your skills as hard as you can in every direction. We're recording now. Okay. Dude, those hydras look sick as hell. And look how they disappeared. Okay. Dude, this game looks fucking awesome, man. I'm going to play so much D4, man. Dude, I'm going to play so much D4. So the thing that I really like here is look at how when this thing is traveling, it like lights up the room. I like that a lot. Look at this thing light up the room wherever it goes. Billy, mash harder. We're recording. Oh shit, sorry. Here I go. Look how the hydras disappear. Look at this. Watch the hydras. Look how they go away. Slow motion. I really like that. I love this. Look at how the weather looks. Summon a thunderstorm. Literally summons a thunderstorm. Look at that. Look at the radius on this thing. It's hitting the entire screen from corner to corner. You imagine that in PvP? Cast thunderstorm and just run away, kiting people. Pretty cool. Oh, good. There's more videos. Hell yes. Now this is a blog post. All right, let's keep going. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the art looks like if the gameplay isn't fun. Oh my god. That is poetry. Yes. I always say that. I don't care what it looks like as long as it's fun. But that looks pretty good. One of the goals for creating player skills is to ensure that the system design team has a variety of modifiers they can utilize to create meaningful skill trees, class mechanics, legendary items, and Paragon boards. Choices should affect more than your character's stats. Once we have a class skill we are happy with, the VFX team adds the ability for developers to dynamically change the size, intensity, and duration of a skill. The visual intensity of a skill will increase as you stack upgrades and items that increase the power of that ability. So literally, if I'm reading this correctly, the skill is going to look more powerful as it gets more powerful. The visual intensity of a skill will increase as you stack upgrades and items that increase the power of that ability. So we're going to notice the difference between a Krillin's Kamehameha versus Goku's. In addition to these skill modifiers, we create variants of abilities that completely change the functionality of a skill or a damage type that it deals. These skill variants can be changed by the scale, intensity, and duration modifiers as well. This allows variants of skills to be affected by a wider range of legendary modifier groupings. Your skill tree Paragon decisions, along with the items you have equipped, will make your character look and play completely different from other characters of the same class. Each of these ranges is handcrafted by an artist to ensure the art holds up at all supported sizes and intensities. We do not uniformly scale every piece of an effect when changing size and intensity. We modify things like spawn rate, velocity, emissivity, never heard of that word in my life, and color ranges to make certain the art still fits the world of Diablo. So now we're going to figure out, we're going to be able to look at people's skills when they go into dungeons and be like, oh, that guy's a Krillin. We need to swap him for somebody else. All right, let's look at this. Wait. Low intensity, small area. Well, let's just watch it once. Let's just watch it once first. In full speed. That's a Krillin right there. Oh, yeah. There we go. Now we have Lord Beerus. Dude, this game looks sick as hell. Damn, the charge bolts are pretty good. Or lightning spear, is that what it's called? Dude, that spell looks sick already. Dude, this game looks sick as hell, man. Wow. Wow. Mm-hmm. We want your character to look incredible as well. Our items are built in a way that allows us to easily apply weapon buffs to any weapon in a game. Not only will your legendary items do awesome things, but they will make your character look amazing as well. Here's an example where we apply the same fire and poison buff to several weapons in our game. So I think here the fire looks way better than the poison. Do you guys agree? I think the fire looks a lot better than the poison. Like that to me looks really good. The poison looks very meh to me. Yeah, where are the poison drips exactly? I'm looking for like some poison some poison drips and maybe like a less dull, like it's a very dull green, right? It's very, this is like a gas almost. It's like a gas. It's not a poison. Yeah, it's a gassy, dull poison, but the fire looks great. So I think we need a redo on the poison. This has been amazing so far, but the poison I think needs a redo. Sanctuary is a dark, gothic world filled with horrific monsters that do horrendous things. To survive in this bleak landscape, you must be merciless toward your enemies. We are bringing back a popular feature from Diablo 3, skill-driven deaths. This system allows you to decapitate, bisect, freeze, shatter, eviscerate, and burn your enemies. To give you a few examples. With our new PBR pipeline, we can make blood, viscera, and gore even more realistic by having it react properly to the lighting of an environment. Every monster is built with a skeletal and muscular structure used for killing them in brutal ways. If your character is in the thick of combat, they will be covered in blood splatter of nearby monsters. Over time, your character's armor will transition back to being spotless. Monster muscular structure. Okay. Blood on characters. Okay, I was going to say, when are we going to see some blood? All right. So one thing I was certain they were going to do this, but I'm very, very glad it's not like this instantaneous. You're covered in blood and then you're not. It slowly fades away. I'm good with that. This might be a good one to watch in slow motion here. Wow, that was cool. Let's go back here. Look at how with the wolf's left hand, he like reaches up and like stabs him in the heart and simultaneously switches forms and hits him with a skill. Look, right here. Look. He's in wolf form, charging up an attack. Boom! Punches him in the face, spills blood everywhere, transitions out, and uses a skill in the other form. It's actually pretty cool. Let's see very slowly how it switches forms here. Okay, here we go. I mean, that's pretty cool. And I like how the blood slowly goes away. Slowly goes away rather than instantly. And it looks like each individual patch of blood has a timer. So it was like it's like the oldest blood spots went away first. The sorceress studies the art of elemental magic. They slow enemies with cold before freezing them solid and shattering them to pieces. They strike their enemies with stunning bursts of lightning, causing bodies to pop and sizzle. Enemies collapse to the floor and char to the bone as the sorceress engulfs foes in fire. So I guess it's just showing us the animated health pool. This is obviously very low quality on my screen here. I'm sure it will look 1,000 times better in the actual game. I like it rather than just a solid blue thing. Some examples of death types that the sorceress can trigger: freeze and shatter, break frozen armor into pieces, char, singe the corpse of the monster with lightning, burn, scorch the monster's flesh, leaving certain remains of a charred skeleton. The barbarian takes pride in their physical capabilities. Their arsenal of weaponry makes them deadly in close combat. With the power of their ancient bloodline, barbarians crush foes into piles of gore, send them flying across the battlefield. Their brute strength is equally matched by their speed and ferocity as they unleash fury on the battlefield, dismembering limbs from all that stand in their way. Okay. And this thing changed, didn't it? Change to a different resource or something? I thought I saw this change to a different color. So, sorcerers do freeze, and shatter, char, and burn. Barbarians do crush, decapitate, cut in half. This is a very elegant choice of words here. Cut in half. This is cut at the torso. This is cut at the neck. Break lower limbs. The rogue is dexterous. Their attacks are methodical. Monsters are often oblivious to their presence until it's far too late. A precise stab from one of their daggers or a well-placed arrow is enough to bring most monsters to the floor. The rogue finds the most opportune time to take on a fight, and they imbue weapons to gain an advantage. Shadow magic can make a superb distraction, but their shadow clones are as deadly as their blades. Examples of death types: eviscerate, spill the insides of a monster. Shadow energy deteriorates the life from a monster's flesh. They can freeze and shatter. They can poison and melt their skin off. They can flay the skin from an enemy, leaving the muscle structure intact. The druid is one with nature magic. They conjure storms and call down lightning on their enemies. They control the battlefield with gusts of wind as their animal companions tear the flesh from monsters. Druids manipulate the earth with nature magic, molding it to their will and bludgeoning enemies from afar. As their enemies approach, they see the innate power of the druid, shape-shifting fluidly between an agile werewolf and a hulking werebear. Some examples of the death types that druids can trigger: roadkill. The monster is crushed by a moving object, leaving a smear of blood on the ground. Devoured. The monster's flesh is eaten away by a swarm of ferocious bites. Lightning give. Lightning causes the body to pop, exploding into pieces. And maul. The monster's skin is completely mangled, covering them in blood. Yeah, I see the body being burned on the ground after it's dead. I like how it shows the debuff there. It looks like there's a poison on him. I like that debuff thing. Okay, we broke his lower limbs. I like that. That guy got decapitated. Look at that purple sword on the ground. $254,000. Holy shit. Pacified. Dude, that skill's OP as hell. What the hell was that skill? Cast one circle, stand in the middle of it, everything dies? Holy shit, he turned into a bear and then now he's a bear again. He keeps switching. Later? What the hell is that skill? Why are druids way cooler than everything else? Look at that molten boulder. Get out of here. So that overall, the concept there looked pretty good. I thought the ice could be a little bit better, maybe, and maybe the fire could be a little bit more dramatic of it burning them alive. But I mean, honestly, when you're playing this game, you're gonna be killing so many monsters so quickly. Are you ever gonna notice this? I probably won't, but I guess it would be cool if the fire lingered a little bit longer and was literally barbecuing them a little bit more. But again, they said they wanted to tone down the effects in this in the volume of the lesser stuff, right? Probably whether a monster got shattered or not is not the primary thing there. That is everything we have to share with you today. It's been a dream to work on this franchise. I've really enjoyed the opportunity to share some of our development process with the community. Thank you for reading our first quarterly update blog for 2021. I hope you found it exciting and interesting. We are actively listening to your feedback, and we strive to make Diablo 4 the dark gothic game we all want to play. Please continue to share your thoughts and provide feedback on social media, Reddit, on our forums. So overall, I would say this has been one of their, I mean, for me, probably the best blog post. This is the kind of content, at least me personally, that I care about. The fact that you can get skills that works very well in Diablo 2, no reason it can't work well in Diablo 4. I'm fine with this. I'm fine with this model as long as I can't build my character in a day. This is interesting. The fact that you can add the powers to yellows, it makes me wonder. I don't know if it was answered here. It makes me wonder if I can add it to blues. And if I can add it to blues, is that a good or a bad thing for the game? Hard to decide. I'd have to think about it. certain places that you farm for certain things. I think that adds some flavor to the game, some tribal knowledge. I think that's a good thing. Paragon board, you expand out, you choose your direction, you unlock new things, you can rotate them, different kinds of things. The glyphs that you have to actually upgrade and get a good one to put it into your Paragon tree. It's going to give you a lot of stuff to theory craft. I think a lot of people are just going to be, you know, on Maxroll playing with the little tool that we'll have that'll show you how to build everything. I'm sure we'll have that, obviously. People will just be sitting there thinking about all the cool builds they can make. For a lot of people, that's very important. I'm very surprised about the visual stuff. I think not surprised that it looks good, but surprised at how much, I guess, it matters to me. It just really looks really good with what they're doing. Wait a minute. Is there there's a higher quality? Oh, pick the higher quality and it exploded. I didn't even. Anyway, yeah, I mean, this has been a pretty monstrous update from Blizzard. And a lot of people that have said, you know, I'm thinking this will debunk a lot of the negative stigma that has been surrounding D4. D4 is going to suck. It's going to be really simple. Path of Exile will be 1,000 times better than it. Yeah, there's no one on the D4 team anymore even working on it. You know, anything else, you know, all the bad vibes that have been thrown this game's way. Looks like it's coming along very nicely to me. Very nicely, so good job, Blizzard. Can I have an alpha key? Can I start playing? Because I want to help and I want to start playing.